Hello Hastings, I'm Tom Wright and welcome to another In Studio. Today we are going to talk transportation, and here is a great expert to talk all about it is Miss Courtney Whited, Director of Transportation for DARTS. Courtney here is leading a newly formed Hastings Transportation Option Advisory Group, and could we just call it HTOG? Or
sure, I've never put that on there, but that sounds great.
But it's a group that involves DARTS along with some community partners, and they are teaming up to provide a new transportation service in Hastings. So we're here to talk about that and what they're up to, who's involved in the group, and talk about a survey. Put out a survey, needs assessment survey out. So we're going to talk about that survey, what was asked and what the results were, because it was just closed recently.
That's correct.
And find out what's next too. So let's talk about this group, the HTOG, if we want to call it that.
Okay.
Courtney, how did that come to be?
Certainly. So when we first backtrack on this, and so DARTS has gone around to each city to propose this loop transportation concept, waiting for whoever would want to partner up with that. And the city of Hastings said they wanted to partner and provide that service, and so they've upfront provided about half of the money, but asked me to find other community partners to make this a community solution. And so my first step would be to form that advisory group that you're mentioning. So I felt like the good partners at the table were the Veterans Home, United Way of Hastings. So you have a unique Veterans Home, the Hastings Veterans Home.
We do.
Yep, and a number of your CDA buildings and other senior high-rises representation of that. The Dakota County has a couple different representations there that represent transportation or community organizing. The YMCA sits at the table, the library. And so we kept it at that level, not business specific yet, because we felt this was unbiased cross-representation of the community. Senior center, community center, I think I'm hitting all the members.
Wow, and when did you guys first start meeting?
Sure, our first meeting was May 18th.
Okay, well, it's really new,
Yes.
really new. And how often are you meeting?
Well, today was our third meeting. I just finished our third meeting.
Okay, wow. And so before we get into the survey, what has been talked about so far? What has been the initial assessment of the transportation system in Hastings?
Certainly. So like many communities across America, we have a variety of transportation choices, but you're hearing from the folks that the people at that table who they serve, it's still not serving all of the need. And so I knew they already would have a laundry list prepared of, here's the people who still need X, Y, and Z. And so my first meeting was to just capture everything that they're hearing from the folks they serve, whether it's seniors or youth or young adults to get to jobs, whatever. We didn't want to necessarily make this for a certain demographic of folks, like young people or kids or seniors. I wanted to make sure and get what all that was, and we determined, okay, I got their data, but now we need to hear from the actual citizens. So I put together that needs assessment survey that you referenced and put that out.
And so tell us, what did you ask in this survey? I noticed it's pretty simple. It's 8 questions, right?
That's right. Sure. So we asked first, would you see a need for yourself or someone that you are close to for another transportation option, yes or no? And then just simple things. What describes you? What age category you are in? What would the service need to stop at? So recreational places, medical, dental, your job, faith community, other things like that, and have that ranked of top to bottom priorities. What time blocks would be important for you from 6 to 10 a.m., 10 to 2 p.m. on down from there, and also asking people how much would they be willing to pay for the ride, and a couple other similar type questions, and of course a place for additional comments.
Great. And so, as we mentioned, the survey is closed. What was the response? What did you learn?
Sure. So we had 247 responses. So thank you for people who replied to that. That was a great response given the short turn time you can hear. I mean, this was put out in about 2.5 weeks, so that was great response. What we heard is overwhelmingly yes, we want transportation. What does it look like? It's that younger senior, as I termed it. It looks like the demographic would be 62 to 82 needs it, but also there was a large number of population from 29 to 39 who needs to get to their job. The other demographic where they wanted to go was recreational and activities and medical and dental clinic appointments, and then faith communities. And people were looking to spend either $3 or $5 per ride. 3 to 5,
okay. Were there any surprises from the data you collected from the survey?
Not at all. I've been doing this kind of work for 10 years, so it didn't surprise me at all. And the other thing I wanted to make sure and highlight, it looked like about the requested day they wanted was Tuesdays from about 10 to 3.
Okay, Tuesday 10 to 3 is the hot time.
Yeah, so we're probably going to steer towards that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you know, with this survey, and also I also want to talk on the history of transportation in Hastings, because there's been like the spiral shuttle for a few months in 2008. I think there was a track bus before that.
Yes.
And so what do you feel has been learned from those systems?
Sure. So Track Bus was a fabulous service. And so how that was funded was through the Metropolitan Council. They funded community dial-a-ride programs like Track. Met Council reorganized and decided they were going to pull that in-house, and just now TransitLink, which you guys still have. So that was your replacement to Track. I know there's a lot of in the city here feedback that that's not the same as Track. Track was very hands-on. It provided a lot of customized and individualized service, which is great, I get that, but then it's hard for you to stick to a route that people can rely on, and it wasn't consistent where your assistance level might be different than mine. So just learning from what works for that, because also that heavy assistance, it costs more on the back end to operate, and subsidies are a lot less out there in this day and age. So thinking of that, and the spiral shuttle was a fantastic, again, try at it, but I think it was just a couple of community people who had the time to push it out there, promote it, get the word out, answer questions, and so that's really hard when you've got a couple people trying to get the word out and operate a fantastic service. So learning from that, super high end with training, marketing, making sure to what is that sweet spot of sticking to a schedule with the right amount of assistance. So we're thinking about having a volunteer sit on the bus where they could provide that extra assistance so the driver could still stay on a set schedule and remain on time. So learning from that, what's that sweet spot to make sure it doesn't get more expensive.
So based on what you've learned from that and from the survey, where do you foresee this going with Hastings for transportation? What do you think, what at this point do you think will potentially work?
I think what will work is that we will do like what I call, and this is terminology for transportation, is like a quasi-fixed route. So if you looked at a map of Hastings and split it into 4 quadrants, like northwest, northeast, and so on, that we could tell people within the hour we'll be in this quadrant from the 1 to 1:15, next quadrant from 1:15 to 1:30 on down, and highlight on the map some high destinations like, you know, Walmart Cub, the library, Emily's Bakery, that will be in and around that neighborhood within this given time. And so you could flag it down or call ahead to reserve your ride. And the same would go when you're on the bus. I'm boarding here. I know you'll be in that next quadrant in 15 minutes. Could you drop me at McDonald's? So fixed, but also flexible.
I see. So there could be some customizable pickup and drop-offs.
Yes.
Sounds like.
Yes.
Well, I think people would be very excited about that. Because I know that was something, like you mentioned, it was something that really liked was the being able to get picked up at the curb and dropped off, whatever. But as you had mentioned, it was, you know, as in the big picture of things, it's not feasible.
Right.
What's next? What's next for you guys? So you keep meeting here, and what are you going to do with the survey too?
Sure. So we went over the survey results today with our large advisory group. And so I listened to the group too, and based on that, I got a map out from the chamber, which is a great map, and just literally pinged on the map the destinations. And so I'll go back with my homework to kind of like route that out on a map, and I'll email it out to the group for them to kind of give me a response. It's one thing to talk it, it's out. It's another thing to see it on there and also see the times. What can we do within that hour? There's like a plethora of places we want to go, but we also want to stay within a set hour. So. And then just look for that feedback. The timeline that we're looking to, like, when is this going to happen?
Yep.
So August 26th, the community has their Senior Wellness Expo at your community center. We're hoping for a ribbon cutting with the bus parked in the lot at that day, with me out there and the bus driver who would go and give that training. Come out, meet the driver, try the wheelchair lift. It will be a wheelchair lift equipped vehicle, so it serves all abilities. And then I'll be out there training people. How do I read the schedule? Where do I put my coin to pay for this? How do I pay for it? Where do I buy a token? All that kind of stuff. And really promoting it with hopes that the following week the service would actually begin.
Great.
So, yeah.
And you had mentioned at the start of this that, you know, there's funding. You guys were seeking funding from the community partners. So is that funding in place? Is that already committed, or? It's
not. So great question to look to community partners. So again, the city has kicked in half the funding. We are still looking for community support in a total amount of $10,000. So that doesn't have to be one large check from somebody. That would be beautiful, but it
would be beautiful. Whoever's watching there right now, 10 grand. Where can they send that check to, huh?
Yes, to DARTS, and we can make sure your name would be all over the bus as a community partner, which is a true thing. But you know, $500, you can also see your name on the vehicle too, and it's just a great way to show you support your community with a solution to get people in and around places to still live here and do their activities. So every little bit helps to operate that. So I'm feeling that the community support is there and it will come together. And if I get more than that, what do people say? Then we'll look at maybe expanding those service hours. So one of the things that somebody want to make sure is, we've heard, is that they want to go to Treasure Island. Well, that's a little bit of longer haul, which might cost a little bit more. So if we got some funding partnership from them, we could certainly look at that as well as a destination, maybe once a month.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Great. Well, for more information, if anybody's watching that's curious that would like to donate or get more information, where's the best source?
Certainly, they can give me a call at DARTS. Again, my name was Courtney, and it's 651-234-2279 is a great place to start.
Great. We got your phone number. We'll put it on the screen right there.
Great.
I understand you guys also have a Facebook page, a DARTS Facebook page?
Yeah, we're on Facebook, and then our website is www.darts1.org.
There we go.
Great.
Well, Courtney, thank you very much, and very excited for you, and perhaps have you come back after the ribbon cutting and talk all about the new service in town.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you folks at home for watching. That's it for this In Studio. We'll see you next time.